B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh V'Nasliach. B'Ezrat Hashem, we're going to talk about Olam Haba and Lo Alenu Gehinom. This shiur is dedicated for Refuah Shlema of all the Cholim, especially Sirus ben Savier, also Lida bat Sarah, Mahnaz bat Helen, Pavane bat Pari. So we mentioned Sirus ben Savier, Bechol Shareh Cholei Amo Yisrael. So, and also for the Ilui Nishmat of all the Niftarei Israel, especially Munire bat Meir. Okay, so this is something that everyone tries to ignore, that after 120 years hopefully there is a world to come. And people think, for some reason they think that they're gonna be living forever, and they think that by their lifetime they're gonna see Mashiach, and as it is promised, when Mashiach comes they won't be Mita anymore. So because of this, there are many who don't really take life seriously, and they don't see it that as if one day passes, they are one day closer to the Yom Mita, shouldn't be untimely. So tonight we're going to talk about what are the ways that a person can examine himself to know if he is closer to Olam Haba or Chas Shalom he is closer to Gehinom. Right. So when we talk about Olam Haba, we mean by Gan Eden, the ultimate final place of being close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as it says in the Gemara, that the Sadiqim Yoshvim, that the Sadiqim are seated, the Atoretehem, the Roshehem, in the Olam Haba there is a Beit Midrash, and all the Sadiqim they sit in circles, and in the center of that circle is Shekhinah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem is present there, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu would learn Torah with them, or they would just see Hashem's presence and they enjoy with their spiritual crowns. And those spiritual crowns are the crowns that the person made by his actions in this world. As Zohar HaKadosh teaches us that there is a heavenly you in Olam Haba, that a person has a mirror of himself, of exact copy of himself in Olam Haba, based on his deeds, of his actions in this world. And any time that a person has a machshava, a bad thought, in that heavenly spiritual space that he has in the world to come, he puts fire, he destroys. So that's why one needs to be very much aware of his Olam Haba and know if he is getting there. For example, if from the scale of 0 to 100, hopefully he is 90, he is 80, he's getting there. Or Chas v'Shalom, if somebody is 10, so he is closer to Qilqul, destruction. And 100 is Tikkun, that he has completed his Tikkun, his responsibility here, and he has accomplished all that he needs to accomplish. Now these days we are very much reconversion, we are the Gilgul, as says Arizal. In the times of Arizal, close to 1,000 individuals were identified by Arizal of why they are here in this world. Wow. So Arizal told them, you are the Gilgul of this and that, and this is how you need to work on yourself. Arizal has had this unbelievable bina Bina Yetera, that he could see. He could see in a person, some Nakubalim could see it in one's forehead, right? Some Nakubalim could see it, that what is a person lacking and why a person is in this world. So Harav Meir Eliyahu Shlita spoke last night, and he mentioned from Zohar HaKodesh some of the ways that a person can know if he is closer to Tikkun, which means Olam Haba, Gan Eden, or Chas v'Shalom, he is closer to, right, the destruction, Chilchul, or Gehinom. First of all, pay attention of what you're dreaming. If a person goes to sleep and he has dreams of gardens, or Chas v'Shalom, he has dreams of girls or things that are prohibited, he should know that his soul is corrupt. His soul is so much.
He's dreaming about the garden.
The garden with girls.
Oh.
If he thinks of negative things, because at sleep a person, Neshama, departs from this world and gets connected to certain spiritual worlds. If he has no spiritual word,
I get sleep everybody dream rather aslan.
Gemara talks about such a person. Gemara says if a person sleeps and he doesn't have dreams for maybe 40 days or 30 days, that's a bad sign. That means Hashem has gave up on him. Why? Because a dream could place the person in a discomfort situation, right? And many times in dream, a person has a spiritual message. It comes in a dream, or awakens a person, right? Right. For example, I had a dream of somebody who passed away, and I'm not going to mention who because this is something that needs to be private, right? And that individual passed away, and I saw the tombstone of that individual shaking in his sleep. And we asked people to come and move it, and that individual was alive in my dream in the casket. So much so, it was so real that I went to the hospital near to the Beit HaGevarot cemetery, and I told them, somebody made a mistake and buried somebody here alive. What should we do? This individual has no longer insurance. What should we do? And the doctor in the sleep told me, if the individual is okay, just take and go home. This is a good dream. This first of all tells you that individual will be zoche to coming to Techiyat HaMetim.
Come to the life, people.
Come to life again. Right. Also, that individual in the heavenly world is still alive. Some individuals are so unfortunately distant from Hashem that they would not end up in Gan Eden that easily. Their neshama could be in kafaqela, could be in stress, could be just running from Los Angeles to China, from China to India to Iran, just kafaqala, going like, what's it called? Like ping pong. They shoot the neshama from this corner of the world to that corner of the world by the malachim. That is something that unfortunately is one of the punishments of neshama. So number one, see what dreams you have. If you have good dreams, in your dreams, you think about the Tosfot or the Rashi that you study, or you think about something spiritual. That's a very good sign. That means your neshama is very close to Hashem. If you have a dream that you're learning with your grandchildren, hopefully, right? And you're teaching them Aleph Bet, and they're giving you much, right?
You're kissing.
They're kissing you, you're kissing them, and you're so
I
happy.
do it when I'm blind. I go there on Sunday. I read books for them. They love me.
Baruch Hashem.
And this is my children, my grandchildren, my life is done. But let me tell you, I want to tell you something interesting. Now that you mentioned this,
Yes.
about 10 years ago when my father, he passed away.
Yes.
After 2 weeks, he came to my dream, and there was my father at 12.
Please say it louder, it's being recorded.
Yeah, after 2 weeks, my father passed away. He came to my dream, and my father, toward the end, he couldn't walk.
Yes.
At the end, last year, so he came to my. There was a party, and my father came in and he said, "Shalom, come and wash my face." I said, "Okay." مهیلا میاد تو اینجا بعد بابام راه رفت بابا راه رفتن خیلی خوب شده بابا رو ببین my father was gone. So I said to somebody, he said anytime it comes to water washing is good news. They said to me. It was very interesting actually. So I knew he's in a good place. I had no doubt in my mind. My father was 10 times bigger than I was.
Very, very good, very good. Yes, may the memory of our beloved ones be blessed.
Amen.
So,
Rabbi,
yes,
as a teenager, I don't think it's possible. Like, I understand it.
yes, we all go through teenager years. I know, and we have nights that are difficult.
There's obviously nights like that, and it's very hard in order for a teenager, especially.
Yeah, Belinda, next week I bring you a book. It's a whole book dedicated for Kedushat Haberit, holiness, particularly in men, and how men need to conduct themselves to make sure that they are pure.
No, yeah,
Yes.
but even if you're not doing anything,
Right.
there's obviously still gonna be dreams.
It comes to you, and dreams come to
There's
you.
no way to possibly get around it.
When I tell you
Yes.
honestly, it happened to me. So I used to read a lot of books.
Yeah,
Oh.
I love books.
I do too.
Very
I would
good.
read until I pass out.
That's one of the ways. One of the ways is to read Torah, to read Sifrei Musa, to Sifrei, especially story of the Tzaddikim. Right? I have the zechut that this Tzaddik, Harav Abraham Atman, Shlita, used to come to my home. He was the Rosh Yeshiva at Sevi. He is still Rosh Yeshiva there. And he used to come our home from Eretz Yisrael, Ashdod. We used to come once a year, and we would host him. And he would always come, and before going to sleep, he would say, "Where is the Baba Sali book?" And we're talking about the Ashkenazi Rosh Yeshiva. And he would read the stories of Baba Sali, right, while sleeping on his side, on the bed, in the bed. Why? And he explained why. Because when you go to sleep, reading the stories of Tzaddikim, you have dreams of the Tzaddikim, and your neshama gets connected with the Tzaddikim in the world to come. While sleeping, your neshama gets connected. That's so good, because when your neshama comes back to your body, you have that influence of that gadol. So that is the best experience that a person can go through. Now, so we have dreams, so we need to try to have good dreams. If you had good dreams, that's a good indication.
When you read books, when you fall asleep, you dream about the book a lot of times.
Yes.
That's my understanding.
Yeah. I remember as a child when we would watch these movies of fighting like جنگجویان کوهستان, right? اوشین رو یادتون میاد؟ اوشین. Samson. Okay, so you watch these things, and when you go to sleep, you see all these ninja. As
I used to watch a lot of James Bond actually. That was 007.
Yeah.
What happened to him? He died in one of his videos, right?
Yes.
He did something crazy?
No. He was living in Bahamas. About 3 years ago, he passed away. Sir Sean Connery, they call him. He won an Oscar actually for a couple of.
But he died in the middle of filming?
No,
No, he died
It
normal.
was really fine. It was like about 90 years old. It was
Okay, so going back to how to identify if you are closer to Olam Haba or Chas v'Shalom to Gehinom. So a person could see what he likes. If he likes Shabbat, if he likes to have more time spent during Shabbat, let's say there are certain individuals that once a week of Shabbat comes, they can't go.
contain themselves.
They can't wait to go home and get the pizza. So they can't go home and open their cell phone and see what's happening. So that's perhaps a sign that the neshama is not so much connected yet. So that they need to work on themselves. That if they spend a little bit more time in Kenisa, obviously good things in Kenisa, not just seeing the walls. They like reading or they like singing on Shabbat and doing mitzvah, and they don't know how time passes for that. They love it so much, that's a good sign. Or they love it to come to shiur, like you gentlemen, right? That's a good sign, right? You come.
I was in this shul and somebody came and gave a speech and said, if you go to Gehinom, it's not bad. Because you go there, you're going to be filtered there, and then neshama is going to go to heaven and other. But if you go to heaven, then sometimes you have to do Girulim and this and that. So he said, Gehinom is not that bad.
No, that's not true. They say 1 second of going to Gehinom is more difficult than all the difficulties of one's lifetime combined. Hashem Yerachem. Now, maybe he meant coming back as Gilgul would be very difficult. Reincarnation and coming back to Gilgul would be very difficult, because when a person goes back to Olam Haba, if he hasn't done that which he is back here, and we are not here the first time, we've been here before, right? Then he might be given a choice to come back again. But the problem with that is, they won't tell him why he needs to come back. He knows there, but when he comes back here, they make him forget.
But they allow
go ahead, what is the question?
So, Neshama, Gilgul, how do they get back to... I heard that you get close to Hashem and you go and praise Hashem when you're going up to Shemayim. So what is a Gilgul? Like, how does he get reincarnated, but he's also still there praising Hashem?
If the Neshama gets reincarnated, he's here. Shema is here, it's not up there anymore.
No, so what happens when you die? You go to Shemayim, let's say.
Yes.
So Gilgul, what happens in Gilgul? You go back down? Or
yes, the person completely comes back in this world.
So that's every time, or how do you not get it?
No, not every time.
Okay.
I think it's some neshama, they need to be kind of like come back to here and do mitzvot and chesed to improve themselves, and then they can go.
I tell you a story. There was this person who unfortunately didn't have the opportunity to go to mikveh, and he was sent back to this world to go to mikveh. How? There was this family who couldn't have children. They went to a big Rav. Big Rav told them, build a mikveh and you will have a child. They built the mikveh, they had the child, but the child got drowned in the mikveh that they built. And the parents were so upset that this only child they had came to this world, and the child died crawling into the mikveh. So they had a dream that a man came to the dream and said, came to the mother's dream and said, I am your child that had to come back to this world. Don't be upset. I lacked the mitzvah of mikveh. That's why Hashem sent me to you. And once you build the mikveh on my behalf, there was no need for me to be in that world. So that's why I departed, came back to Olam Haba. Every person has certain things to accomplish. Obviously a person needs to try to cover as many as possible mitzvot. We have 613 mitzvot. About 400 of them cannot be done these days, right? Because we don't have Beit HaMikdash. But one who studies about those mitzvot, for example, Reshit Gez, I guess is the mitzvah of shaving the first shaving of the sheep's wool, right? That is a mitzvah. Or mitzvah of a pidyon haben or pidyon chamor, right? Or shiluach haken. Rare mitzvot. Person cannot do it. Go study the halachot. Hashem would consider as if you did it. A person cannot do pidyon haben. He's a kohen or he's a Levite. Go study halachot of pidyon haben and Hashem considers as if you did that mitzvah. Checklist. Pidyon haben I studied. Checklist. Checklist halachot of korbanot. Checklist. Before you know it, you study 613 mitzvot. Boom! No more Gilgul. Why Gilgul? Baruch Hashem. Person uses the opportunity to do teshuvah. Hashem forgives him. Right? So one of the ways to know is how much love you have for mitzvot. If the more love you have for mitzvot, that means the more closer you are to Hashem in the world to come, right now. So, if right now a person goes to Olam Haba, from the scale from 0 to 100, hopefully it will be on 80. Now, Harav Meir Eliyahu Shlita pointed out true story, that there was a very rich man who wanted to find a Talmid Chacham for his only daughter. That's a problem. You know, a daughter of a big rich person, very hard to find a good husband, because whoever you find wants to get married to that girl for the money. So he looks around, he finds a good looking, handsome Talmid Chacham, real Torah scholar, and goes, talks, with the Rosh Hashiva. Rosh Hashiva says, very good, right? And they set up the date. The girl likes it, right? Likes him. So she's getting ready to be proposed. She says yes. After that proposal, the father comes to the son-in-law, the future son-in-law, say, you should know that all my fortune, everything will be used for your advancement of Torah study. Whatever you like, you just tell me. I take care of it. House, maid, sefarim, anything. You just learn Torah. So this is true story. So they got married. They got a place in Bet Dagan in Israel. They built a hotel, and they built this, what is they call it in the apartment, but it's fancy. Penthouse. I believe a penthouse for the son-in-law, and obviously the son-in-law is in Kolel, so he wants to make Chanukat Habayit. He asks his Rav and the other friends and students come for the Chanukat Habayit, for the opening of the house, right? That they should say the Pesukim, they should enter there with Kedusha Tahara. But deep down he feels bad. Right? I have so much. I have the best, marble. I have everything so fancy, and everyone else is living so basic. So he feels bad about it. He decides to go to Harav Steinman, Alav Shalom, one of the most pious and simple Rabbanim that ever lived in Israel. I had the zechut to see him from maybe 20 feet. I tried 2 times going with my children to get bracha from him. There were so many people in the narrow stairs going to his apartment that we couldn't get in. And we saw the fan running. It was hot. It was during almost summer time, and we couldn't get in. I also saw him in Baltimore. He traveled to Baltimore. He lived so simple. So this rich Talmid Chacham goes to a Steinman and says, Rav, I have a question. We see that a person who has fortune should use his fortune, right? But what should one do if he has a lot of fortune? What should he do with that? So Rabbi Steinman says, so what? He can use it to make his wife happy, to learn Torah, to get Sefarim. Why not? So he's going to serve Hashem more. And he says, Rabbi, but if somebody has a lot more of that, so a lot more he does. So, no, Rabbi, you don't understand. Somebody has much, much more, right? So Rabbi Steinman, Shlita tells him, I don't understand what is bothering you. So he tells the Gabbai, but please explain it to him. I have a lot, and I have a feeling that because I have a lot here, right, that we said in the Gemara, right, that a person who uses this Olam Hazeh, they will deduct from his Olam Haba, right? I'm afraid that if I have a table of 4 legs, right, my table in Olam Haba will only have 3 legs.
You have 2 legs.
Because I ate 2 legs or 1 leg of it in this world. So Haramei Eliyahu Shlita said, people, they are so confident about getting to Olam Haba and having the table that now they're thinking their table is going to have 3 legs or 4 legs. And the biggest tzaddikim, they worried that they're not getting into Olam Haba. They're not getting into Olam Haba. And they're thinking how long they're going to end up in Gehinom before they go to Olam Haba. That is how a person should examine himself. To make sure, am I getting to Olam Haba? Am I making sure that I'm not going to Gehinom? Because after all, a person have to go to Gehinom because there is certain averot we do, and unfortunately Gehinom could filter it. Right? So it says, a person needs to keep that in mind. Person, what else? It says, you want to know where you're holding? Look at yourself. If you wear Gucci, right, and you wear, these fancy, what are the brands? What is it? Louis Vuitton. Whatever, all these things, you go to rodeo there, right? You go there and and you say, I have the money, why not? I buy quality, right? Quote unquote, quality. It says our Meir Shlita, you could buy quality for fraction of what you pay for Gucci or Louis Vuitton, whatever. What?
It's actually just a normal bag. It's a bag. They made it in China. They send it to Italy, and these Chinese people in Italy, they put the stamps or whatever, and they say it's from Italy, and they charge $5,000 for a $5 bag.
Yes, $5 bag go for 5,000.
I believe it.
Or why you go that far? Shaitels that many have, they pay for maybe less than $1 in China, right? And a lot of these hair gets brought to the Abu Zara, maybe in India. Indians have very good hair. And then this shaitel goes to Europe, and they put a sticker there, right? That this is European hair, and comes here and they say, yes, this has mashkiach. Since when you rely, right, a goyish, a Gentile, right, person to say this is the hair of a European lady? Since when the Europeans have so much hair? In France, in Germany.
Asking for an Indian hair, you're much ahead of the game. You don't go to the supply right there.
Right. Yeah, in the Europe, they don't give their hair. Why should they shave off their hair and give it? Why?
They don't have that much hair anyway. I think
it's so cold.
In the originally Koreans were the ones who used to sell their hair, and now it's Indians and other.
So there are many sources that say this is fraud. This is not true. And this is brought in one's home, and they put it and they say, oh, mazhabim shaitel darim. We have shaitel, we have from. Not precise, unfortunately.
But I heard that if you go to heaven or hell, the first question they ask you is, how was your dealing with others?
Yes, did you have honesty, and did you were you qobaitim be Torah? Did you learn Torah? That's another question they ask. So we wanna really prepare ourselves for Olam Haba. So look at yourself. Are you the one that lives simple, or every year you changing your car, right? Do you give?
For the car, you cannot change it.
No, we're not talking. No, we're talking in general. We're talking for the other fellows in the recording.
That's why I never like to lease my car. I always buy.
Yeah.
Keep it for 10 years.
Look,
I throw it away.
I have car 1999. Right, my kids. I didn't use it for 7 years. 7 years. Right. I had people told me. Right.
The battery is dead now.
So I changed the battery, obviously, right? I spent about $150. You know, I did some other fixings, less than maybe $400. I fixed it. The car runs so good, right? And I get good mileage. It's Nissan Altima and looks good, right? It doesn't look brand new, but it runs. It does what I need, right? You don't need to get brand new car every year. You don't have to have all these luxuries. We can spend this money to sponsor, right, Talmud Torah, to help in Eretz Israel. People are hungry there. You know, so many kids go to sleep. It's expensive. So many kids go to sleep hungry, right, in Eretz Israel, right? Spend the money there. When it comes to parties here, right, they spend so much money for bar mitzvah, for chatuna, right? And when it comes to buying tefillin, Rabbi, 4 years ago tefillin used to be 400 years. Why now is 800 and above? Excuse me, everything has gone up. Right?
I want to make sure I tell his father to get him maybe when he comes back from the yeshiva, get him a Bentley convertible or something. Because he deserves it, he decided.
That's problem, you know, there are certain individuals that they make sure to get in accident with the person with Bentley. Because
Lexus.
Because why? Because they know
they have
good insurance and they fake it and they
and then they get the money.
They get the money.
Insurance fraud.
Yeah. Why? And then you need to worry where I park it. You need to get all sorts of alarms, and you need to keep the alarm on at night. Who wants it? It was in news in Bel Air. There was armed robbery a few days ago.
Few weeks ago?
No, a few days ago. Armed robbery. They went, they got all these cameras, they put police on it, right? They destroyed, and there was this safe, they dragged it. They what's it called? They got the husband and wife, chained them up, right? And then they took a lot of things and they ran away. And you think police is going to get them? Be my guess.
They have defunded the police.
Right? There is no police. You go in the streets, you see police. You see these cameras by the corner of Beverly, by the corner of Doheny and Olympic, and it takes camera, it takes picture.
From the parents, they're going to pick up their children from Hillel.
Yeah.
I know somebody that got a ticket. Right? Ticket came, and he didn't go through the red light. but nevertheless the ticket came. The video you go there shows that you made a right turn. You didn't pass the red light. You went right turn, right? They're making moved money, alaki, right? And for that,
I get to get a ticket there. But honestly,
the good news is they say the good news is that those tickets are not honored. They make you pay it, but it's not honored because according to the law, they're not supposed to be any more of these cameras.
Really?
That's what I was told. A lawyer told me like that. They keep sending it to you. Yeah. They can't hold you accountable. There is no such a law making you pay. Right? Yeah. Right? So over here, right, we need to understand. Another lawyer. I got one of those too.
You're not kidding. Those fish I got a ticket for $90 for across Olam. My brother said you go on that.
So the last way of measuring where you holding, is it more tikkun or khilqul chas v'shalom? Have you accomplished your purpose or not? Is to see how eager you are to do mitzvot. A person is making $100,000. Are you paying $10,000, $20,000 sadaqah? If you're not, then you're not doing the mitzvah of sadaqah properly. Or if you're paying sadaqah, but you're paying, it hurts. Again, this rabbi wants money from me. Right? چقدر پول مانی گرفتن؟ چقدر؟ Where is this sadaqah?
بیشتر از 20% نمیتونید.
20%شو بدن. حالا بدن.
پولی که میدی برای children high school deducted.
One needs to do mitzvot, and we end here. Be'ezrat Hashem, help us that we gain Olam Haba v'nomar. Amen.